Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson, BamaInsider.com. Can we just take a minute just to appreciate that sunset? My goodness, that was beautiful. All right, everyone, thanks for joining in. Tonight, I'm talking about Alabama's defense. Alabama practice Wednesday evening under the lights, and this is a great vantage point of Alabama's nickel package. And as you can see, this is probably the projected first team Alabama defense out of the nickel package. So let's walk you through it and let's look at it in detail. So first, we're going to see from the safeties perspective, you're going to see Xavier McKinney, he's number 15. You got Jared Maiden at number 21, Patrick Surtain, who's going to be in that nickel spot. And then the corners are going to be Trayvon Diggs, who's going to be out to the left, and then Josh Jobe, who's going to be on the right side. So those are going to be your corners in this nickel package. And then you also have Dylan Moses and Markel Benton. It looks like Benton will be that linebacker that steps up to replace the injured Josh McMillan, who suffered a knee injury during Alabama's first scrimmage. How do you guys feel about this nickel package? And how do you feel about a player like Patrick Surtain moving to that nickel spot and Josh Jobe, who did a great job last year as a true freshman towards the end of the season? But how do you feel about him stepping up to be Alabama's corner? And how do you feel about Trayvon Diggs? I think absolutely Trayvon Diggs' absence last year with the foot injury really affected Alabama's defense. And I think with him back, he adds some veteran experience. And I also like, as I've said many times, the addition of Charles Kelly, who's working with the safeties in the backside. I think he brings so much knowledge to the defense along with Carl Scott. So really think about the defensive minds that Nick Saban has added. And we've talked about it again and again, but you got Charles Kelly in the back. You'll see Carl Scott working with the corners, and then Nick Saban also working and really going over this defense. I like it. I like that nickel package, and I think Patrick Surtain is such a playmaker. I like them getting him to that nickel spot, and I think it's going to be exciting to see what he brings. I was kind of curious to see where Shaheem Carter would fit in, but I think talent-wise, I think these guys are ahead of him. And I think when you look at the safeties, right, Xavier McKinney, Jared Maiden, here's Josh Jobe on the outside. I think the talent pool at that safety position, those two safeties, Jared Maiden and Xavier McKinney, I mean, that's a nice combination. And I think Patrick Surtain just probably brings a lot more size than Carter. And, you know, he's a guy who did really well in open field tackles. You know, we break down the grades after each game. We look at Pro Football Focus. Patrick Surtain is a player who had a very high graded mark at at open field tackles, which is key when you're playing out there. And then you got Xavier McKinney providing that leadership in the secondary. He's another player who graded out extremely high. So I think when you're looking at Alabama's nickel package, and I was excited to see this today, it looks good. You know, Dylan Moses, and I guess we're going to have to see how Markel Benton plays in coverage, and I'd be curious to see if Ali Cajo is a little bit better suited for that if Alabama is facing a team that does throw the football. Looking at the outside linebackers right now, as you know, you saw the earlier practice footage, Sal Sinceri always bringing the fire, working with these guys. And I always have my eye, and I'm watching these freshmen because I want to see how they adapt to this environment, and I want to see how they improve in their second full week of practice. And one guy who we've been really excited about is Kevin Harris, and he's right here, number 44, getting coached up by Sal Sinceri. I think he has, I mean, you look at his physical stature and his physique. I mean, I think in time, Sal was chewing on him, right? I think with his physique, I mean, look at him. He's right next to Terrell Lewis and Anthony Jennings there. And he's got great size. So I think, you know, the future is bright for Kevin Harris. There's Ben Davis repping with the outside linebackers. I was kind of curious to see if the depth doesn't pan out at the inside linebacker position, if Alabama will move possibly a Ben Davis or a Chris Allen to work with the inside linebackers. I guess we'll have to keep our eye on that and see if anything does transpire with some of these outside linebackers moving to the inside linebacker position. There's number 30, another young freshman who just arrived in the summertime. That is King Makuta. He's been going through the drills. I mean, of course, everyone is going to look good at practice, but I like to see how these guys are paying attention to detail, right? Saban always talks about that. He talks about the focus and the attention to detail and psychological disposition that these players have to have every single day. And Saban said something that really resonated with me the last time he spoke. He said, got to run hard when it's hard to run. And I'm looking for that as well. I mean, it's been extremely hot in Tuscaloosa. You know, the temperature's been rising, and it's time to really see which players are starting to cut above the fold, who really wants playing time. And I think we're going to start to see that come Alabama's second scrimmage on Saturday. But overall, I mean, I think my biggest takeaway from the outside linebackers, as we've discussed, is the health of Terrell Lewis. And I think that's going to be a major factor for this team. There's Jerez Parks, another guy who I'm curious to see how much playing time he gets during the 2019 season. He's a guy who really haven't talked too much about, but he's a guy who has a lot of athleticism now, has been here, I believe, two seasons. So it's time for him to get on the football field. And I know you're saying the same thing about Ben Davis. You know, it's a curious case of Ben Davis, came here as a 5-star and really hasn't seen the field at all. So is this his chance, his opportunity to get into the field this year, besides more than a special teams role? I would think so. I mean, it seems like he's working hard, but it all comes down to, you know, attention to detail and how much you know about the defense. And can you execute under pressure when your number is called? There's Parks right there, followed by King Makuta, Kevin Harris, and Chris Allen. As you can see with Chris Allen, he had a brace on his right arm. That's new. We'll try to follow up with that and try to see what's going on, if he got dinged up or banged up. But yeah, I didn't notice that before. But Chris Allen, he's coming off an ACL from last season. He looks 100%. Obviously, he's out there. But I think that that brace is new, so that really caught my eye. As we end out, we're going to look at the outside linebackers. And as you know, with Josh McMillan out, some of these younger guys are going to really have to step up. Josh McMillan provided that senior leadership, but Dylan Moses is certainly the alpha male when it comes to the defensive mind, a guy who's going to call the defense. But these younger guys have to step up. Now, there is talent. We've talked about it plenty. You got Markel Benton, who we just talked about, repping with the ones in that nickel package. You have Jalen Moody, number 42 right here on the left. And then you have Ali Cajo, who I think is primed for playing time. And I'd like to see him in that nickel package just because he's more athletic, in my opinion, than Markel Benton. I think he could cover space. I think he could really make an impact this year. This is probably a chance for him to really get on the field. And then I think when Alabama is facing more of a rushing approach, that Shane Lee is going to be a thumper, right? A guy who can come up and lay the wood. Now, don't sleep on the fact that Shane Lee can move. I mean, we saw what he did during A-Day. He intercepted a pass and looked great running. He's got a lot of athleticism. I know his body type screams just muscle, but he can move. And then, of course, on the outside, you have Dylan Moses there working with Markel Benton. Hey, if you like what you see, you're going to love this. Only August 15th. I got a flash sale. Sign up at BamaInsider.com. Get 25% off your subscription. Get $75 to the Adidas store and get a $25 gift certificate to the Alumni Hall so you can load up on Alabama gear. Alabama fans, what are you waiting for? We would love an opportunity to earn your business at BamaInsider.com. Simply go to BamaInsider.com, follow the sign up links to get this massive flash sale that ends August 15th at midnight. Hit me up with questions to Kyle at BamaInsider.com.